News You Need is a look at current events and how they affect the college community and beyond. And now here's the host of News You Need, Dr. Ed Simpson.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Another exciting edition of News You Need. This is the show where we talk about what's in the news with the best human beings in the whole world, which is our USM students. And we have another amazing panel here today, and Dr. Hale's trying to get his earphones to work.
Oh, no, they're working. It's just so
they're
loud.
working too well.
They're very,
That
I see. You're
very loud.
They are a little bit loud, but I'm actually kind of okay with that. I think it's, but anyway, so there we go. So this is the show where we talk about what's in the news, and the reason we care is that we are all citizens on this little blue marble of ours, and that if we want to have a good society, the society we want, the society going in the direction that we all want, we have to be engaged, we have to know, we have to make decisions. And why do we do that? Well, how do we do that? Well, we read the news, we talk about it, and we figure out what decisions we want to make. So if we would, panel, introduce yourselves. Perhaps tell me name, major, what your major is, hometown maybe, what group you're with, and we'll just go around and get going.
Hi, my name is Kayana Jasper. I am a senior liberal studies major with a minor in biological sciences. I'm from the Queen City, Meridian, Mississippi, and I'm super excited to be here. I'm also the president of the National Residence Hall Honorary.
Excellent. We'll get back to that in a minute. And the Queen City?
Meridian, Mississippi.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Why
either.
is it called the Queen City?
I have no clue, but they do call it that.
Excellent. Okay. I'd never heard that. I think that's awesome. Annabella?
I'm Annabella Laird. I'm a freshman communications studies major, and I'm from Natchez, Mississippi, and I am a producer here on News You Need.
Yes, you are. And I believe we've instituted a new segment of shenanigans.
Oh, have we?
I don't know. I
Oh.
thought we were talking about that last week.
Huh?
She's looking at me very strange.
I'm confused. I don't know.
Just we had significant
yes.
shenanigans.
Yeah, we have.
And we want to continue our
we did.
shenanigans.
We shenaned once, and now we're going to shenan again.
We are. Dr. Hale.
I don't have any idea what's going on. So, I work here, and I was dragged into the studio again. I just walked by, and they grabbed me, and here I am.
That is part of our shenanigans. So we love that.
Many such cases.
Okay. So if you would, tell us about, now, what group are you with? Tell me again.
The National Residence Hall Honorary.
That's excellent. So what is that group?
So the National Residence Hall Honorary is, or NRHH for short, it is a branch, which is a sister organization of the Residence Hall Association. And so we kind of deal with all things recognition on campus. We serve as the main place to our members. They write these things called OTMs of the months, and so we write them in different categories about different individuals on our campus or different groups, just to give them extra shout out, recognition that they deserve, and things like that.
Well, that's really
That's
interesting.
awesome. Yeah.
And how do you do this? So do you put them on bulletin boards, or do you send out social media? What do you do? How do you recognize them?
So they are recognized. First, our members, they write their OTMs, and then we go through and we vote on them for
I'm
each
sorry, what's an
category.
OTM?
Of the months.
Of
That's
the
like-
month.
mhm. So each person is
So
recognized.
blank blank of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So different categories are recognized each month. And so our members, they write those. And then what we do is we take a little bit of time and we go through and we vote on those to see like who wins for each month out of each category.
Okay.
After their reading, we read some great recommendations and different things. But, there's only one winner for each category. So it's kinda
Give me an
hard.
example of a category.
One category could be like an event of the month.
Okay.
Or like a staff member, advisor, student of the month, different
okay.
things like that. Just shining some light on some things that we see on campus. So after that, and we select our winners, we also notify those who did not win. Hey, you were recognized and you were nominated, and then we sorry y'all, we
You're all
recognize
good.
the winners and we reach out to them, and then we recognize them by giving them like a certificate and a goodie and something, kind of lift
Well,
their spirits, and then we post it on our social media page.
I think
That's cool.
that is
Nice.
very cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And so the members of the group, that's part of why you want to be a member is to nominate folks? Is that the way it works? Okay.
It is a national honorary, so it's a part of the Residence Hall
Yeah,
Association.
interesting. So your job is to be around campus and notice, oh, this person or this group or this event ought to be a blank blank of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have old bald guy of the month?
No, we don't have that.
Oh, Dr. Hale, I'm disappointed.
It's interesting. I was thinking about this while this was being explained. So just to make sure that everyone is aware, the guy who's speaking, who isn't me, is technically my boss. I've never been recognized for anything, and I think it would be really nice to just make that.
You got
really...
pulled into this show.
I would like to be the blank of something.
Yeah,
can we work on that?
We will work on that because Dr. Hale definitely needs to be.
This will be announced when we come back after the break.
He needs to be recognized in some fashion. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think that's an amazing group. Have not heard of it. So it covers all of our dorms. So if you're in our dorms, you can be a member of this.
So how it goes is there is a selection process. So people are nominated, and then we go through, and then based on our numbers, we can only have a certain percentage of the whole campus population in our organization. And so we go through those nominations and we critique and
Wow,
make sure
so you're
everything.
selective. How many members are there?
I think currently at the moment we have between 30 to 35 members.
Okay,
wow.
and so each of them are empowered to nominate.
Yes, sir.
So there you go. That's fascinating. So we know you now. So if we want to pitch you a nomination, we would get in touch with you, and
Yes, sir.
you would look into it. It's not automatic.
He's trying
Dr.
to be
Hale.
That's pretty cool.
old
Dr.
ball
Hale.
guy of the month.
Yeah, I think old ball guy of the month that should be number 12 in the categories, I think somewhere. So I love that. Okay, so guys, what are our students talking about? What's news? What's big? What's happening?
So one thing I noticed that people are very much talking about lately, I'm not sure how much I am able to be allowed to talk about this, and it actually has to do with recognition, but I don't think your organization had anything to do with it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
I don't know how much I can talk about this because it has to do with the campus and with the university.
It's America. You can talk all you want.
Is a student who was not recently,
Yes.
many years ago, in a Title IX case.
Correct.
Who was suspended for 2 years, came back, and is now being honored by the graphic design department.
Correct. So what you're talking about, as I understand it, is a student was...
Which, again, but I don't think that had anything to do with you. To clarify.
No, it is. Yeah. So I think what you're talking about is that there was a sexual assault case about 3 years ago involving a student. And that student was, according to other students, was expelled from campus for 2 years, allowed to come back. And just recently, the graphic arts department here on campus posted he had won some sort of graphic arts award from a national organization, and they had posted it on their social media. And I think what happened is the campus was surprised, our students were surprised that he was back. And so I think, so now, what happened 3 years ago, you probably weren't here. You're a freshman.
I'm
yet.
a freshman. I was not
So,
here. I didn't know about any of this.
You were here.
Until that happened.
You actually were probably a freshman here.
I had no clue about it.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, there was a relatively sizable protest at the front of campus, right off Hardy Street, about 70, 80 students, hoisting signs and challenging the university to change their policies on sexual assault. So I think it's a really good topic, and you're saying students are engaging in that?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of people around like my age, again, you'd have to be a senior now to have been here when that happened, are learning about this for the first time. So it's causing kind of an uproar because a lot of people didn't know this happened, and a lot of people who were there didn't know he was on campus again until this happened.
Yeah, so we're going to take a break, and we're going to pick up with this subject of sexual assault on the other side.
If you or your business is interested in sponsoring programming on WUSM, we'd love to talk to you about the benefits and opportunities. You can get recognition for your business as well as the appreciation of the WUSM audience. The audience realizes your support provides the programming they listen to daily. In addition, our sponsorship rates are very cost-effective and tax-deductible. To learn more, call 601-266-4287.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Okay, we are back. Yeah, this is, we were just talking through the break. Our students apparently are quite exercised over this. So you did see it on social media?
I saw a post on Facebook about it a couple of days ago, and that's all that I've seen. I'm not really in tune to like other avenues of social media.
Oh,
that
really?
much.
So you're
I
an
am-
unusual young person if you're on Facebook and that's all you do.
Oh, well, I'm on Instagram and everything as well, but the past couple of weeks with everything and senior year and trying to get everything together, I've not been on social
Well,
media.
good
as
for
much.
you.
That's actually something we talked about last time. Was since the election, a lot of people have just like on campus have just opted to not be on social media anymore because just seeing a lot of the conflict is really, really overwhelming.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, so now we have campus. And Dr. Hill, you said you've seen it actually on Reddit.
Yep, I saw it on Reddit as well. So it's making the rounds through pretty much all of the platforms.
I don't know
Yeah.
why that's so crazy to me that it's on Reddit.
Yeah, well, you know, the local subreddit anyway.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know we had one, to be honest.
We do.
No,
I'm not on Reddit very much.
yeah, Dr. Hale's a Reddit guy. I am not. I am not a Reddit guy. But so what do we think about this? So the issue is really important. Now we tend to, as an audience, as a community, as just a group of humans, we tend to focus on this one isolated case, which which makes sense because you can see it, you can feel it. I mean, but there is a bigger issue here of sexual assault on campus. What do our students feel? I mean, nobody obviously is in favor of sexual assault. What should the university be doing about it?
I'm not really sure. I am very surprised he was allowed back on campus. I don't know how much I can talk about this, but it has come into play a lot that his father is the dean of the School of Business. So that is something that has been brought up a lot of
Yeah.
why he is on campus still.
Yeah, that is all over social media. Now, 3 years ago, when the students first got in an uproar, there was a group of students, and I thought it was really great of them, began pushing forward a zero tolerance policy that, to my knowledge, the university has never acted on. So zero tolerance would be, the idea is you are involved in sexual assault, you are off the campus forever. How do our students feel about that?
I wouldn't know for sure, being that I haven't been in a lot of spaces with protesting and things, so I wouldn't exactly know how students are feeling about that. Yeah, I just wouldn't know.
How do you feel?
Personally, I feel as if I understand that it is a great issue. I understand that it is a thing in our society that is happening to tragically to individuals everywhere, and I also believe that that justice is definitely in play here as well, and then also realizing that things happen, not in like a dismissive sense, but also in a way to understand that even as things are happening, just understanding and taking time to hear people out. I think that's something that we need to keep in mind. Just hearing individuals out, whether it's victims, whether it's those who are in this predicament, dealing with this, just having a chance to hear people out versus giving more amplification to the issue versus what's being said.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd's judgment can be harsh. Yeah.
That was a very measured response.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
This can be a very emotional issue. Well, which kind of goes to one reason why we exist as a show is this idea that if you know what's going on in the news, you can make decisions about it, right? So your new president has rolled back the Title IX rules that President Biden had in place. The Title IX rules under Joe Biden were much stricter, involving reporting requirements, and now they didn't mandate a zero tolerance policy, but they supported universities that did. The Trump administration has rolled all that back, and now there's a due process requirement pretty significant due process requirement for those accused of sexual assault. So do we care about that?
Well, I think, of course, we anything the president does, we care about. That is interesting. I didn't know about the zero tolerance policy thing. I don't know how to put this. It makes me sound really naive, but I didn't know that was a thing that people didn't do. Yeah, so it was that's interesting to hear about. I didn't know about the rollbacks either. That definitely, again, with everything he's been doing, is very fast.
Right. Well, right.
It'll happen very soon,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's right, and I think that's there's no shame in not knowing all this stuff, right? Because it's a tidal wave out there of things happening, and that's why we pause and we consume and we chat and talk to each other as a community to figure out what we need to pay attention to, right? And one reason protests exist is to do exactly that, to focus the community's attention on what this particular group anyway feels is important. So anyway, so there you go. That's a little bit of a dark subject, although many of our subjects nowadays are dark. Let me ask you guys. So it was really interesting. Last night, our Communication Studies Student Association had a meeting, and part of the idea was to process the current times we live in.
Oh yeah, the vision board.
The vision board.
I'm so sad. I ended up not going to that because I thought I was going to be on a train, and then I was not.
Oh, well,
and then I was not on the train.
We'll get you dragooned into the group. It was a nice group last night, but I naively, being an old ball guy, tried to start a conversation about processing what they're seeing, what they're feeling. That's in the news and what's going on with politics and the clear shift to the right. I could not get a conversation going. Are our students talking about that at all?
I think our students definitely are talking about it. It's just sometimes it's nice to have spaces where we don't have to think about that.
Well, interesting.
I'd say, kind of like Annabella was saying, students are trying to find a space where they can just be students. I know for me particularly, I am not like outside of everything that has happened politically and different things like that, everything that's happening in the news. I'm not saying that like I don't care, but I'm saying that like there's nothing that I can do to change any of that's happening. So I can focus on like what's going on right now in my life, which is trying to get to graduation. So I think that not to dismiss it in any way, but just saying that like there are other things that deserve more focus, and there's no need in stressing over things that we obviously like cannot change in this moment.
You are so even and articulate about all this.
You really are. You never mentioned it, but she's a podcast host.
Are you? Of what? What? You have a podcast?
What's
your podcast?
I
What's
did
your
have
podcast?
a podcast. I put it down to the side for a little while just to focus on school.
Yeah.
My bad, I didn't know that.
No, it's totally fine. At first, it started off it's just like a little Facebook streaming thing, and it was called Plugged In with Kay. And then afterward, it turned into an actual podcast. And then from there, I renamed it Not Your Average Church Girl Podcast.
And what's your content?
I typically talk about and share different aspects of my faith.
Gotcha.
And different aspects of what it means to fully and wholeheartedly just serve Christ as a young adult, who's also in college, who's also highly involved in different things, who's working a job, who is facing different things like in my own personal life. So I just use that as an avenue to share and also serve as kind of like an example for other individuals who might be in the same space, and just kind of serve as like a role model for like some peers.
Wow.
If I may ask a question, how do you think being so strong in your faith, I know you said you try to focus on like personal things more than like what's going on globally that you can't really affect change in, but whenever you do see things like that, how does being so strong in your faith, how does that affect how you process it?
That's a great question.
It is a great question.
Being so strong in my faith is what allows me to process it in a way to where I am not afraid of anything that's happening, and I can easily digest what's going on in a manner that I'm reflective of. Even though this is happening, I can remember what His Word says. Even though this is happening, I can now remember, this is what God still promised me. He's still going to be here. He's still here providing for us. He's still here taking care of us. And also just the understanding that everything that's happening in the world is orchestrated by Him, is orchestrated through Him, and so He's allowing all of these things to happen for a purpose. Even though we might not understand it, we might not understand why this is going on, why this person may be in office, why this is changing, why that is changing. He uses all of that to allow us to see Him. So it's like the things that we see in the world, the things that we see that we're facing, it draws us closer to Him, because now He can show you who He is, even in the midst of like chaos and destruction.
Wow, you have a future. What do you want to do with your life?
So after I graduate in May, I'm planning
yep.
to go I'm trying to find the right word. I'm trying to go to get my master's in healthcare administration and policy, probably, or healthcare administration and education, so that I can become a healthcare administrator in healthcare facilities in order to write and ensure that policies are being met and carried out in the right capacity.
Wow.
Dang.
I love our USM students.
That was awesome. We really shifted gears hard.
We really did.
But I think that it actually does make a lot of sense to bring that all back. Right? You're not alone in doing that. This is something that I'm seeing a lot of. Is I want to not so much. I don't want to know what's going on, but I want to care less.
Yeah.
And part of what I'm going to do is reprioritize what it is that I want to focus on, and I want it to not be politics. So even if I am talking to a top 12 bald white guy,
There are not that many of us around.
I just don't want to. I just don't want to talk about politics. Stop bothering me, because I'm trying to prioritize other things. I think that's actually a very common thing that we're seeing. And also this pullback from social media too is happening along the same lines. Like, I just need to take a break.
So here's the thing. I'm going to push back on all y'all with love and respect, because here's the thing. Exactly the same thing was going on in 1936 in Germany and all across the world in different genres, right? What happens is these major things happen, and that's what humans do. We withdraw, and we say, I can't handle it, it's too much. And so what happens then is the organizations that are supposed to do certain things get turned to do other things, and the people who are supposed to watch them don't, because it hurts. And I'm going to challenge us. I'm going to challenge us as a community. This is just me. And we're going to take a break.
Wow.
And you're going to have to wait for this challenge.
Cliffhanger.
Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277. And the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons with visual or physical disabilities the freedom to read their way.
If you want to read in electronic braille, you can. If you want to read on your phone, you can. If you want to read in heart print, you can.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program.
For more information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
So here's the challenge. We are back, and we continue to talk through the break. But I tell you, here's the challenge, is find a way to stay engaged. Find a way to be active in what you believe and what you love. Right? So, I mean, and it did come up really quickly last night. I mean, very briefly, I meant last night, where one of the students said, what I feel, because I asked him directly, what are you going through right now? And one young lady said, I'm going through fear. And I said, well, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid that I won't be able to marry who I love. It kind of broke my heart a little bit, right? I thought we fought that battle. We haven't, right? So that's kind of where we are. So, and you guys are amazing. I love talking to you guys. I tell you, everybody should talk to our USM students. You feel better. But let me take a completely different direction, right? And again, kind of a here's why we just kind of want to pay attention to the news, because it isn't all politics. A lot of it is pretty dark, though. Here's a dark one. I don't know, Dr. Hill, if you paid attention to this.
Oh boy.
Can I actually, can I say something
Sure,
real
of course.
quick? Just real quick. I completely agree with everything you said, but I do want to defend Kayana real quick, that if she's trying to go into healthcare policy and stuff like that, then I do think that is paying attention and
Totally
enacting
agree.
change in her own way.
No, totally agree. No, I didn't know. I'm blown away. No, totally agree. You don't need to defend her at all. That was just amazing. So anyway, another dark headline. I just want to see if anybody caught it. Will that asteroid strike Earth?
Oh.
Risk level rises to highest ever recorded.
You say dark headline. I say promise.
There you go.
I've seen some things about the asteroid, but I thought the chance went down, is what I've seen.
This headline's about 4 or 5 days old. Maybe it has gone down. Did you know about the asteroid?
I did not.
You didn't? So there you go, right?
Well, let me clarify. The asteroid is not. It's called the City Destroyer. So if we get hit by it, it's not going to like destroy the whole world or anything.
There you go.
To clarify.
There you go.
We're not going to be the dinosaurs.
You never. Yeah. Some of us are closer to dinosaurs than others.
We are not going to be.
So
the dinosaurs.
we didn't catch that the asteroid. So we kind of missed that a little bit.
No,
although you did. You're on it. How about Gene Hackman?
Oh my goodness! Speaking of dinosaurs, I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you guys? It's all over the news.
Yeah. No,
you
I don't
guys
know
are
who that
shaking
is.
your head. Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead.
Yes, I did see that.
Along with his dog.
I saw that, but I don't know who that is.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
Case in point.
Wow. Okay. Never mind.
I've also been off of social media for a little while. Like, I'm only on there maybe like 20, 30 minutes a day. So,
No,
Yeah.
I keep
right.
seeing things about Gene Hackman and his wife and his dog died, and I'm like,
It is mysterious.
it is mysterious.
It's very.
Apparently, it's very mysterious, but I don't know who
Yeah,
it
it is very mysterious. I am riveted on what caused it, but there you go. Okay, old guy.
I saw some stuff about like his
Okay.
wife being like mummified and stuff. Like it's weird stuff.
All right, here another headline. Let me throw this at you again. New York Times. Republican, and you guys might want to care about this. Republican men and women are changing their minds about how women should behave. Okay, this is have you guys seen on social media the trad wife
Oh yeah.
hashtag?
no. I
Okay,
haven't
well,
been
you've been off. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you've
you've
been
been
off.
off.
So this
See it.
is the movement where, especially on the conservative side of the ledger, folks are talking about women should be women and men should be men, as in men, kind of the masculine.
This is going to be really funny for our
give me-
audio
give me-
I
listeners.
was wondering about that.
Muscular, masculine, violent, not violent, I guess, but powerful presence. And women should serve their men. What do you think? Are we heading that way? Are we back to that?
Again, this might sound naive of me, but I don't think we're going to make a full 160 to that. Because I feel like you see trad wives a lot in like content creation, and it's not real because that's their job. They're making money from it.
The irony of it is
yeah. It's not, that's what, I remember. This is really calling myself out, but I watched the I think it's Hulu series, reality television series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and they get into that a lot about some of their husbands of these women want them to be trad wives and consider them trad wives, but the women themselves don't, because they're like, I make a lot of money off of my influencer stuff, and so I have a job and I do. One woman was putting her husband through med school with her like influencer money, but he still considered her to be like a stay-at-home mom, even though she very much was like.
I'd say no, simply because there are so many women who have hopes, aspirations, and dreams of going into the workforce, and there are so many women already in the workforce. I'm not saying, like servitude is like a thing that's dead, but I'm just saying like just full servitude. Now, if if you're gonna pay all the bills and everything, even though I may be like at home, I'm still gonna find a way to have a extra source of income coming in, whether it's writing a book or
Which she has done, by the way.
or doing different things. I'll always make sure that I'm not just not putting my hands to use.
Yeah, I tell you, we could talk a lot more about this. I think there is a lot more to discuss about this, but we are unfortunately out of time. And our engineer is nodding at us. So there you go. So this has been a production of Southern Miss Student Media. Our producers are Lily Burghard and Annabella Laird. Thank you all for it. They're actually in your second week. Second week.
We got the paperwork done and everything.
It's all your official.
I can tell HR I work now.
You can. That's amazing. Our producer is, our engineer is Kylie Keenan, and our videographer is Isabel Michaud. Is that correct? Close enough.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
And we will be back with more shenanigans, not next week, but the week after.
Because we have spring break.
Yes.
This has been News You Need with Dr. Ed Simpson. News You Need airs Friday afternoon at 12:30 on Southern Miss Radio.